electric vehicles from China are very inexpensive. Is it likely that Americans would buy them anyway? Is there an appetite for cheap Chinese EVs?
Well, the auto industry is a global industry, as you know, and all competition needs to be taken seriously. At the end of the day, the consumer decides. Consumers want choices, new technology, and value. The US EV capacity has now exceeded consumer demand for EVs, and we're starting to see conquest sales through price deals and incentives. Competition is expected to continue to increase, with 10 more EVs hitting the US market this year, particularly in the midsize SUV and truck segments. SUV and truck sales make up over 80% of the US market. In contrast, small cars make up less than 1% of the US market. The $11,000 China Seagull would be in this small car segment. The Chevrolet Bolt, also a small car, under $20,000 with federal tax incentives, during its peak, sold less than 0.5% of industry monthly retail sales. I'm not an expert in geopolitical decision making, but consumers are looking for lower cost vehicles within the segments of their preference. There is a void in the marketplace, and this is similar to the late 1980s, early 1990s, when Hyundai and Kia came to the US market looking to fill the void. Whether low-cost EVs are first offered by domestic brands, Asian brands, European brands, or Chinese brands, we'll have to wait and see, but there is a market for them.
But as you just said, Elizabeth, within the segment they're interested in, it sounds like the segment that the Seagull's in, the really small, really inexpensive one, that's not potentially that much of a threat to U.S. automakers.
That's correct. That's a very small segment.
So you've been studying consumers and their reactions to electric vehicles. You actually had a report out at the end of March. And as I read that, it isn't so much the price point as the charging stations. People really are invoking that as a reason to be hesitant.
Absolutely. We survey over 2,000 new vehicle shoppers every month to gauge their interest in EVs. And when we look at the top reasons for rejection, those who say, I am not interested in an EV, we see lack of charging station availability as the top reason for rejection, but purchase price as the second. So that's where EV education comes into play. There is a learning curve to owning an EV, figuring out where to charge, how frequent to charge, how much to charge. And although for many, charging may not truly be an issue in terms of availability, but perception is reality. And charging is simply too much of an unknown for them. And same goes for price and understanding the total cost of ownership of owning an EV. Often the savings with the EV incentives and operating costs and maintenance for that matter often offset that initial price. But again, this needs to be explained to the average shopper. So infrastructure, price, education, all very important.
One last one, Elizabeth. If they need to feel comfortable about charging, what's going on right now with Tesla and Elon Musk might not give them a lot of comfort, because it looked like they laid off the entire division and then they sort of changed their minds. Where are we right now with Tesla and the supercharging? And have they really changed their course?
This is potentially a big blow to the infrastructure build out. The Supercharger Network is the nation's largest and most reliable fast charging network. When NACS was adopted by non-Tesla manufacturers, that helped address one of the most pressing needs in the EV space, which is increased availability of public charging. With more EVs utilizing those superchargers, that is going to add to the congestion, increasing wait times, which will be exacerbated with increased EV adoption. For now, Supercharger has the highest reliability, 95%. Compared to only 81% for non-Tesla networks. With the mass layoff, it calls into question Tesla's commitment to growing the network and maintaining the reliability. And this move could also impact the brand's sales. Public charging availability is a primary driver of why consumers purchase Tesla based on our EV ownership study. Similarly, based on our shopping survey, the number one reason people cross-shop with Tesla is for the Supercharger network. So the Supercharger network move could impact the brand sales if customers no longer see the Supercharger network as a brand differentiator.